Here's how we're going to start our first profitable e-commerce dropshipping store. This is lesson 6 out of our 10 lesson free course. Now, in this lesson, I want to talk to you about marketing. We're really going to get into the good stuff here. So how can we actually find our first customers? What's the best way to market? I'm going to talk through organic strategies. I'm also going to talk through advertising through Facebook and TikTok. But realistically, when we're getting started, we want to be using organic traffic. And the reason we're using this is because it's going to allow us to scale our stores quickly and efficiently. So you'll remember this store that I've displayed a few times in some of my previous videos. A lot of this traffic was coming through organic. This brand had built up a huge amount of organic following on social media through TikTok, Instagram, and a little bit on Pinterest as well, but most of it was TikTok and Instagram. So basically, I then started to work with them to scale that, and we were running ads as well, and that's sort of a huge part of what was able to keep this store consistent over time. So if you want to see consistent results, you want to build a brand, you want people to be coming back to videos, much like you've come and watched through all of these videos on my YouTube channel, or you watch your favorite YouTuber. The reason you go back and watch them is because that brand or that person provides value to you that you find is useful, you want to keep coming back and watching. So that's why we're going to create organic content, because if we stop posting for a couple of days, we will still be getting some views and some traffic to our store. Additionally, I ended up working with this brand introducing ChatIQ, which is our AI software, which helps with automating customer support, reducing costs within the business, increasing conversion rates through AI product recommendations. And if you are interested in that, the link for that is down below in the description, or you can go ahead and sign up and book on a call with me and I can show you exactly how that works. But you'll remember in some of the earlier episodes, I did a walkthrough on how to build your first e-commerce store using Shopify, and we built this very simple landing page. I did speak a little bit about conversion rate optimization and copy, and this is basically through writing an advertorial to try and sell more products and increase your conversion rates. I also created this template here to show off what you can expect from the amount of traffic you're getting. So the biggest problem that we're going to have now in scaling our business is the amount of views that we're making for our store. Because 10,000 views on something like TikTok, and if you're repurposing that content across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, you are quite easily going to hit 10,000 views per day. And if that 10,000 views can get you 200 clicks, then you're in a very good position to be making almost $2,000 profit per month. But here's the really cool thing, because what we did in this video here is this $50 product costs, we had a bit of a breakdown here, right? So let me just break this down. So we basically have two main costs for fulfilling a product, fulfilling an order. The first one is how much does it cost to actually buy the product and also ship it. And it was about $6, but I've rounded up here to $10, depending on the product that you're shipping. We then have our CPA. This is our cost per acquisition. Now, in this example here, our price and our profit is determined by the price of our product minus the sum of our product cost and our CPA. The CPA is the cost to acquire a customer. So in this case, we're estimating that it's going to cost $30 to get a customer. And when you're starting out, if you're running paid ads through Facebook or TikTok, that is probably fairly average, fairly standard. You might be lucky, you might get $15, $20, but realistically, if you've not done a lot of testing and you've not got very good creative, that's kind of where you're sitting at. So it's a good conservative estimate. But here's the really cool thing, because I want you to look at this number here, because now if we actually remove that CPA of $30, because we're running free content on TikTok, we're just creating content of our product, we now increase by, actually tell you what we can do is we can reduce the amount of views we're getting per day. So now we're only getting 5,000 views per day, which would, with a $10 profit margin, make us $750 per month. When we remove our marketing costs, because we're using organic traffic, we can now make $3,000 profit per month. So you only need to get 5,000 views to make $3,000 profit. How cool is that? So here's what we're going to do. For every product that we're selling for $50, we're making $40 in profit. And the way we're going to create content is using TikTok. So these were the videos that I had a look at to define and find out exactly how to sell our products and increase the conversion rate on our website. So for example, this one here, 1.7 million views. What we need to do is find videos and look through the comment section and see exactly what people relate to about this video. So I hate my skin, I wish it was clear. Right, this here, I'm imagining has got audio to it. Yeah, so this has basically got sad, depressing music playing throughout the video. If you want, go ahead and search this video. You can listen to it yourself. And basically what they're showing is what they wish they had. I think there's a picture of Megan Fox. and then what they're doing is they're showing a compilation of bad skin videos, so acne skin videos, and this relates to a lot of people. Okay, now what you can do is you can basically reproduce this piece of content. You can say this piece of content got 1.7 million views. Why did it get 1.7 million views? Well, because people can relate to it. They wish they had clear skin. They relate to this stuff, and this was the whole sort of movement that was happening when this content came out. So we can reproduce content like this. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get 1.7 million views, but if you can try and create content like this, and you can basically stitch all of this, and you can use the content and the videos that you can find to stitch together content and post that on your account, you can easily get 1,000, 2,000 views. And here's an example, right? If we come onto TikTok and we search for, I think my name is... Right, this is my TikTok account for my personal brand, right, which is different to this YouTube channel. And I talk about running a software business, I talk about business and all of that stuff. These videos here, this one I posted 2 days ago, 2,200 views. And I just sat in front of the camera and spoke to it. This one, 5,000 views, 1,300 views, 2,500 views. It's not difficult to get a 2,000, 5,000 view video, okay? This is my branded channel for my software, Chat IQ, where I talk about AI in business, okay? And here, 1,000 views, 600 views, 1,300 views, 1,000 views, 900 views, 2,000 views, 2,000 views, right? 1,000 views. So if you're posting 2 or 3 or 4 videos per day, you can very easily hit 5,000 views. Now, I will get into how to create good content in a minute, but essentially, once we hit 5,000 views per day, if we get 2% of the views to click through onto our website, we get 100 people visiting our website, we make 2.5 sales, we make $3,000 in profit per month. So that is basically the strategy that you need to use. Now, we did say our product is a natural acne, skincare, that sort of stuff. So as opposed to copying, let's copy this, right? As opposed to going onto TikTok and looking for what people have created for this, these videos here aren't necessarily the ones to go for. These ones, to be fair, could. So you want to look for hooks. You want to find videos that people have got lots of views on and why those have got views. So, for example, the reason this video here has got 161,000 views is because the opening hook is very, very intriguing, very interesting to people, because it just draws the attention in, okay? So you want to look for videos that have got good hooks. You want to make a list of those hooks. So, for example, putting the patch on and pulling it off. That's hook number 1. This is another one that did well, 1.4 million views. This is the patch on the face. So it's like a before and after. There's a promise of a reward if they watch the entire video. So when they watch that video, they know that they're going to see the results of using this product. And especially, right, with these sorts of products here, because by using it, you should see a result, then people are interested to watch the entire video, right? And we have this inherently in our favor with the content that we're creating. So you can either stitch content like this off off TikTok, and stitch it together and create pieces of content for your own brand, or you can obviously order your own product and then you can create this content of yourself as well. And they tend to do incredibly well. And equally, we can compare that to videos that haven't done so well. So this one, for example, is just some woman talking about the patches and basically just giving everybody her thoughts on it. So this video hasn't done as well because it's just longer. It's not as engaging, it's not as interesting to people, and it's not instantly showing them what the product is, okay? So if we're selling a product for acne or skincare, we want to capture those people's interest. The people who find that a problem, the people who have that frustration in their life, we want to capture their interest first. And just by standing here talking, you're not instantly noticing, or it's very difficult to notice this thing on her head. If, however, the frame was zoomed in and you had a tiny part of that frame and you were much more closer in and that was the forefront of the video, then you're more likely to stop the scroll for people. Again, this person who is just talking about this article, I don't know if this has necessarily got anything to do with acne, but the point is it's not as engaging as the original hooks. So basically what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find hooks like this that are going to be interesting that we can then use, okay? And some people try and write different stories on them and whatnot, but once we've got a list of hooks, then we can test those out, okay? So let me draw a diagram for this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with 5 or 10 different hook ideas. Then we're going to, so imagine this is the timeline for a video, okay? What you can do to speed this process up is you can take the first 3 to 5 seconds, which is essentially the hook section of the video, and you can swap this out, okay? So you've got 5 different hooks that you've created, and you can swap in these different hooks, I'm going to say 3 because I can't be able to draw so many squares. These can be swapped in and you can see which one gets the best results, while the rest of this content here can remain the same. Because now what we're doing is we post for every one piece of content that we create, we test 3 different hooks, okay, and these 3 different hooks, whichever one gets the most number of views, we then iterate on that, okay? So basically, right, this is exactly the same that you do with advertising. When the biggest thing, needle mover, is creative, okay? So you want to make sure that those videos are going to work and get views. The opening part of the video is what's going to hook the viewer, and then this part of the video is what's going to retain the viewer. Ideally, you want to go for as much watch time as possible. Now, you can sort of bootstrap this a little bit by doing slightly shorter videos, but this way we can test hooks quickly and we can produce a lot of content very, very quickly. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to find 3 to 5 hooks from TikTok. You're going to film those different hooks, and then you're going to film the main part of your video based off what's worked well on TikTok and based off what's worked well from the market research that we did when we produced this video here. Okay, so for example, you can make a video about this, you can make a video about this, okay? Each one of these you can make 3 to 5 different videos on, and then you can create different hooks, right? If this is a picture of the science behind the product, you could even show this in your video. Anything that's going to stop the scroll and be interesting to people. And then you're going to swap out different hooks for each section of the video. So if this part is a section, this section could be why medication fails. You could film another section on the science behind acne. And then what you could do is you could swap in 3 to 5 different hooks into that video. And then for one different section, you have 5 different videos that you can post and see which one performs. As you start to see which videos perform, if this hook performs and these 2 don't, then start to create more hooks like this one. If you find that the section about why medication fails doesn't perform as well as the different skin types video, then you want to focus more on the different skin types. You want to find different video ideas along this route. And it's basically just a iteration program. The best way that I can recommend you do this is you create a list of ideas to start off with, and you create a spreadsheet of those ideas, and then you track which ones get which views. The ones that get the most views, you then start to test those and then come up with new ideas and just keep on iterating. That is the best way of creating content for TikTok. And then obviously you want to repurpose that content across Instagram, YouTube, and obviously you got it on TikTok on the original account. So next thing you want to do is in your video have a call to action. What I recommend you do in your call to action is you show your website. Okay, so I don't know if I've done it in this one here. Okay, I'm showing off my product. This is obviously my software product. And if people want to sign up for it, I've basically pointed at the website. So go to the website and you can sign up for the product. So that's what you want to include as well with your video when you produce your video. Okay. So now we've got different content that we're creating. What do we need to do to scale this? Because to try and hit, large numbers like this, to try and get this exponential growth in our business, we cannot necessarily control this through organic content. Because as you've seen, some videos get loads of views, some videos get no views. So unless you have a full stop system for getting thousands of views for every video that you post, we want to be able to see, get millions and millions of views. Now, at some point, you could find that one of your videos go viral, which could obviously cause a spike like this. This wasn't because of a viral video, by the way, but you get the idea. The next logical step is to move into paid advertising. Now, when we move into paid advertising, don't forget our CPA, our cost per acquisition, is going to start coming back in, okay? So we're going to start to make less profit by advertising on Facebook and TikTok. That is just a matter of fact. So typically I say move into this stage once you've validated your product, once you're getting sales, once you've got a good conversion rate. When you've got a good conversion rate and click-through rate, and you've tested that content on TikTok, all you do is take that content and then you market with that content. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to show off, if we go to Facebook, we're going to go to business.facebook.com and we're going to create a Facebook media buying, Facebook ad account. So if we come to the settings section, once you've created a business manager, you can actually then go ahead and create an ad account. Now, by creating an ad account, I'm not going to do it in this video. All you need to do is give it a name, a time zone, and then just basically fill out this form. You're then going to get to this page here, which is your ad account. Okay, and your ad account is going to allow you to start marketing on Facebook. So when we create a campaign on Facebook, you've obviously got to link your payment details and card details. What we need to make sure that we do is, okay, for some reason Facebook's not loading at the moment, but the same setup that I'm going to go through on TikTok is exactly the same system. So we've created a TikTok ad account. Just go to ads.tiktok.com, create an account. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a testing campaign. So the testing campaign is literally just to see what happens from the results that we have got from our videos. So the videos that we've created, if we can start to scale those videos and get, sales from that. So we're going to go for website conversions. I'm going to give the campaign a name. We're just going to call this creative test. And by the way, make sure that you've set up conversion tracking. Should I go through it? Probably. Let me just set that up. Okay, so if we go to tools, I think it's under tools. Yeah, okay, so tools, we want to go to events, and we want to track web events. And basically what you're going to do is create a pixel, and a pixel is just a way for you to track that information. I'm going to ignore that, close that. Cool, so I've actually already created one here, but we're going to create one. We created an audience from that, so we're going to set up a web event. So manual setup is what I recommend. You can actually set one up using Shopify as well if you want. So let's click on Shopify. We're going to click on next. It's going to open up the Shopify app. We might as well integrate it with Shopify straight away. I think it's this one that we need to install. We're going to install that. It's then going to load up. We're going to install that into our Shopify store. And basically this is going to allow us to link the TikTok account, TikTok ad account and everything to the Shopify store with all the tracking information set up, ready to go. So basically within our ads, we're going to be able to see how many people add to cart, how many people check out and all of that stuff. I think we need to go for this one here, set up now. So we're going to connect the TikTok for Business account, which we've already got set up. We've already logged into that one over here, wherever it is here. So here we go. We're going to connect that. Then it's going to ask us to choose our business center account. I recommend you just go ahead and you use TikTok, to be fair, instead of Facebook, just because I think TikTok's just easier to get set up with. We're going to go ahead and we're going to link that account. Data sharing. Sorry, my internet's really slow here. We're going to go for maximum. Cool, that's all right. Confirm. And then finish the setup. So now we've got that set up on our website. Now, when we come into here, we finish that. Theoretically, in a minute, there should be a new pixel set up within the Events Manager. We'll give that a second. But anyway, once that's set up, it will then show up here. And when you come into, for example, this one, you'll be able to, I've got to verify my identity. But anyway, you'll be able to see the different events that you're getting in your website, okay? I then recommend coming to the settings section. And when I say events, I mean things like the number of clicks that you've had to your website, the number of add to carts, checkouts, and purchases that you've had. I usually turn on advanced automatic matching, leave all of this stuff set up, and that should be everything for now. When we then have done that, we're then going to build our first marketing campaign, okay? I'm going to go back. Okay, I just realised I just checked back on the Shopify store. What I actually did is I already used the pixel that I've already created, right? So I've linked that. If you didn't have a pixel, it would ask you to create one, but whatever. I've already linked the old one. That's all fine. You can see all that information here. Cool, you've linked it. It's all set up. You can come into the settings section here. So when we come back to the TikTok ad account, we're going to come to the campaign section. And what we're going to do is create a creative testing campaign. And you can see I've actually done one here for my software a while ago. But we create a campaign, and every single time you're running ads, you want to be going for website conversions, because we want to be converting customers. We want to be going for purchases. We don't want to be worrying about anything else. So we're going to give this a test, creative test. And then I'm just going to click on, just move that out of the way, continue. I'm not going to build this campaign, I'm just going to show you how I would put it together. We're going to create an ad group. Now, an ad group is a way for us to set up audiences and to set up demographic targeting and all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to leave this as broad, okay? The reason I leave it as broad is because in my tests and everything that I've done, typically just letting TikTok do its own thing, finding its own audiences, seems to give the best results. And when you do that, it basically allows it to find the audience based off the creative, based off the people who watch the video and how well they engage with that video. So it leaves it a lot more open, and typically you can get cheaper results. So I've just been setting up the account. You can see here on the optimization event, there aren't currently any events for us to set up. When you come into, you can see if you click on this, we can actually create an event. We're going to set up the purchase event. So if we come to here, you can see this is like the traffic events that I've been getting on the store. I don't know when this is for, if this is recent data or not. But if we click on add events, we can do manual setup if we want. Actually, we probably should have done partner setup because obviously we're using Shopify. But if you see down here, where is it? Complete payment is essentially the complete payment is basically the purchase event. Okay, so when somebody purchases your product, then that is the one that we're going for. This is the complete payment. I'm going to have a look at the partner setup and see if that's any easier. Because if we do this, it will just link directly to the store. Pixel already exists. If you've already installed a Shopify app, you can directly connect it to Pixel. So open the Shopify app. Oh, we've done this, hang on. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and set this up manually just because I think we've got more control. So we're going to use the custom setup just quickly. So basically, right, you've got 3 levels. This is essentially like your funnel. At the top of it, you've got awareness. This is the people that see your advert. This is typically low intent, low converting traffic. So view content, this would be view content. View content is people who visit your website. Go ahead and look at the page. Add payment info, add to cart, initiate checkout. This is consideration. Conversion, we put place order, complete registration, and complete payment. So we're just going to apply that template. And then we're going to go to next and select event setup method, event builder, events API. Let's just quickly, I'm going to move on to the next part. The other thing we're going to do here is on the complete payment, we can set up the event parameters, right? So the parameters for this event, ensure key parameters are selected as this can impact campaign performance or ad spend reporting. So we want to be able to send back important information. For example, the currency, the value of the order. Quantity is an interesting one. I'm going to set that to yes, just because I can then hopefully see if it tracks it correctly, the number of orders one person's made. This can become confusing because you can look at it in your store as you've got one order, but somebody's ordered multiple items. So TikTok would track that as like 3 quantity, but you've only received 1 order. So decide what you want to do with that. Price, that should probably be it. All of this information should be cool. You can do the same things with like add to carts and whatnot, but I'm just going to leave that as it is. Place an order and complete payment. I like to just do complete payment as the one I'm optimizing for, because at the end of the day, we want them to give us the money. That's the payment. Okay, so now here, if we click on the view instructions for the custom code bit, I'm just going to finish this. It's going to open up this link here. We're going to copy this pixel code. We're going to come back to our store. We're going to come to the online store section. And we're going to go to edit code and theme.liquid, and you want to add this in here, and this would go below, if you sign up for Chat IQ, it would go below the Chat IQ embed code, and I think add the event code using this payload here. Okay, so this is the purchase event code. So if we copy this code here, and what we're going to do is we're going to come back to exit. I need to remember where to put this. I think it's within the settings section. Checkout. They may have moved this order status page, add tracking scripts and other customization. So this is where it will go here. So pixels are now available, recommended, blah, blah, blah. Get more accurate. Okay, we're just going to paste that in there for a second. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go and have a look at what they've got on this. So here we go on the TikTok Pixel app. So we've got the app set up. The app theoretically will track the conversions, but we now have that tracking event code on there as well. Okay. So what we want to do is want to keep an eye on it, right? Because now we've got both of these apps set up, and this app is theoretically tracking the conversions. We want to make sure that we're actually, those conversions are being tracked correctly. We're not duplicating those conversions. Cool. So we're just going to close that, and we're going to come back to here, and then we're going to finish. So the next thing that you want to do, and I'm not going to do this now, but you want to create an order in your store, and then you want to view the order status page. Okay, so if you come to the orders section, you obviously want to upgrade your account, but when you can create a draft order, and then you can view the status page. This is then going to basically fire the pixel for your store. So then within your events manager, you will see here under complete payments, there will be recent activity, and you will see 1 recent payment. But this is now all set up. Do that for, obviously I meant to do it for this one, add payment. So visit your order page. And if it shows up as 2 events, then you want to remove that code that I just added within the settings section, because it means that the tracking app is actually working. But anyway, so now we've got the event set up. Sorry, that took a little bit more longer than I expected. We can then come into here. Hopefully this will refresh. Ugh, I have to refresh the page. And then we're going to select the pixel. Optimization event. Okay, whatever. That'll load eventually. Point is, in here you would put your create payment event. That will probably come up once you visit that page and it shows some recent activity. You want to give it like 5-10 minutes, but I don't have time to wait for that right now. Select the placement for this. We're only going to be pushing this onto TikTok because we don't want to be advertising on any of these. I'll just leave it in search results for now. Right, now, this is the next important part, the demographics and targeting. You will notice, right, if I go in here and I try and search for the United States, and if I go for Canada, for example, right, you want to put in the countries that you want to start targeting. Canada and Australia. These are typically the countries that you should be targeting. If your account can't show the United States or United Kingdom or some countries, it may be because you need to get a different type of account. My account lets me target these. I know TikTok's changing these results and they're changing how many countries you can target, but leave it at that for the moment. I then typically like to target anybody over 18 because people within this category have got a credit card to pay for something. I like to leave everything else turned off. Now, what you can do is you can mess around with audiences, interest, and behaviors. Now, when I said at the top, we labeled this ad set, I didn't save it, but we're going to label this ad set broad. What we basically mean by that is we're not putting any targeting in here because now we're going to leave this up to TikTok to decide where to target this content. Now, it comes to the budget. I recommend fairly low budget. We're setting the budget on the ad set level. Okay, so $20 per day, or pounds. My account set up in pounds. 10. I don't know what the lowest is, but you can go to $10. No, yeah, it has to be minimum of £20 per day. That's all fine. Start time, I usually say set it up to run. So today is the 1st, so I say to set it up to run at midnight. That way, there we go. Midnight of, there we go. Sorry, the next day. Cool. So that means at midnight tonight, or the start of the next day, the ads will start running, which means you'll get a full day of spend. And typically, if you start to run it as soon as you've done it, like if I start to run it now, it's going to blast to that £20 for the rest of the day and see very, very poor results. Optimization goal, we're just going to go for conversions because value is the idea of it's trying to get us higher value. So people are going to spend more on our store. For now, we're just going to go for conversions. Don't worry about this. This is automated bidding. We're just going to leave it as it is. All these advanced settings you can just leave off at the moment. For now, this will be fine just to get started. All we're trying to do is see what results we get. Has this loaded yet? No. So the next thing we're going to want to do is set up the ads. Okay, now I'm going to show you what this looks like because for some reason my thing isn't updating. If we come to this campaign, we see here we've got a broad campaign. And if we come into this, you can see I'm testing 3 different ads. And these are video ads that I downloaded directly off TikTok, okay? So I've just loaded up the data for this account, right? You don't need to pay much attention to these numbers. But what we're going to do, let's just go to columns, ecom. These columns here that are set up are the ones that you want to have set up on yours. Okay, so we want to track how much we spent per ad, the number of impressions that we've got, number of clicks that we got, the cost per click. So this is 87 pence to get a click to our website, and the click-through rate. Okay, so this click-through rate here is the same number as this one here. Okay, so we're aiming for a 2% click-through rate. Where are we? Checkouts initiated. Obviously, on this store, I didn't actually have an add to cart checkout page, okay, but I do have a complete payment page. So the complete payment is the one that we're tracking. This is when somebody buys the product. So 29 people bought for £3 per order. So those are the ones we're really tracking. Those are the ones we're really interested in. This number here needs to be less than, so if the CPA is 30 and the product shipping is 10, that leaves us with the $10 profit. So that is our goal CPA. So as long as our cost per purchase, our cost per complete payment is less than this number here, we're making profit, okay? Your break even, right, some people call it the BECPA, is equal to the price of your product minus the cost of your product plus shipping plus processing fees, but we'll ignore processing fees for now. So that's our break-even CPA. So if we spend $40 and someone buys our product, then we've not lost any money, but we've gained a customer. Now, if we set up good customer service using ChatIQ, book a call with me down below, we can then hopefully get returning customers, and then that customer can come back and buy from us again. But for the ideal point is you want to make profit on the front end, okay? So you want to get a cost per purchase less than $30, so you're making a 20% profit margin on every sale. So here's the goal. Now we've got our ads set up, we're going to let them run for a couple of days, and you can see here I've turned off these two ads, right? This one I turned off at £1.23. I think this one actually got banned, so that's why I didn't spend much. But £1.23 I turned it off. The reason I turned it off is because it spent that much money and it didn't get a single click. So I knew it was just not worth spending money on. Usually I would say recommend leave it to get more than 100 impressions. Try and get it close to 500 impressions, which would be about £5 for me. When it hits 500 impressions and it's got no clicks, turn it off. If it's got a very low click-through rate, for example, less than 1%, turn it off. If it's got a low click-through rate, but the cost per click is fairly cheap, you can leave it on. If your cost per click is like $2-3, then and you've got a low click-through rate, you've got a problem with your ad. So here's some really sort of interesting stuff that you need to sort of focus on with marketing through Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and all of that sort of stuff. When you run ads, you need to make sure that your cost per click is going to be, so you need to make sure that you understand these KPIs, okay? Where's this? Let me just write this down because it'll be easier to remember. KPIs are key performance indicators. Let's just use text, okay? KPI, key performance indicator. So if you've got low click-through rate, why is this doing this, okay? Let's just turn this off bold and underlined. Low click-through rate, but high cost per click. This is a ad issue. So that means that you have got not many people who see the ad are clicking through. That is a problem with your ad, okay? If we see that we have a low cost per click and a high add to cart rate, so low cost per click and, sorry, I meant low cost per add to cart, this is equal to a landing page issue, okay? So for example, in this situation here, when somebody lands on our website, our KPI says we should expect 5% of the people who land on our website to add to cart, right? On here, in this case, we're only tracking checkouts initiated, but you can actually add to carts to your columns if you want. I don't know if it's on here, whatever. But anyway, if, for example, out of these 100 clicks, if we hadn't received 5 checkouts or 5 add to carts, then what we're going to do is we're going to check out the landing page, because the landing page isn't making people add to cart. And if people aren't adding to cart, it's going to have a knock-on effect with the rest of the funnel. Nobody's going to purchase. This isn't tracking anything because I didn't have the initiate checkout event set up. That's why. Initiate checkout is different to add to cart. That's one other thing you need to know. Where is this thing? Over here. What else is really important? If we've got a low click-through rate and high CPM, and I'll explain this in a second, this is an ad issue. Okay, so if we're getting not many clicks and the cost is very, very high, we've got an issue with our ad and our targeting. So CPM is this number here. You can see here, I've got a low CPM, £8 CPM is actually pretty good, but my cost per click is also quite low, so I'm not too worried. Okay, now what happens is the lower the CPM gets, you will typically have a lower cost per click, a lower click-through rate, but your cost per click will also be quite low. So I think I mentioned this in one of the earlier videos, but essentially the CPM is what defines how much you're spending on ads, how much the ad costs are, the cost to reach 1,000 people. So with low CPMs, you usually get low click-through rates, but your cost per click still evens out to be fairly low. If you're in a position where you have a low click-through rate, but you have a high CPM, you have an issue with your ad. And this usually means people aren't interested in your ad. It's not engaging enough. The watch time's really bad. It's boring. It's not showing off the product. Or TikTok has taken offense to your video and they've decided to limit the reach that it's getting and hammer you in terms of cost. So basically, if that happens, any ad issues, you want to test out a new ad. So these are the most important rules that you need to learn. And the good thing about these is if you see things like this happening on your ads, you know where to diagnose the problem. It's amazing what you can do with the data, okay? So in this case, I know everything's working well. I'm getting very, very cheap payments because I know when somebody lands on my website, which I'm getting very, very cheaply, they're converting. If I'd got 100 clicks to my website, but no sales, if I'd got no customers, then I have a problem with my entire funnel, okay? If I'm getting very, very cheap cost per clicks, but nobody's purchasing, there's an issue with the landing page downwards. If I'm getting no purchases, I'm getting very high cost per clicks. The first problem I need to fix is my ad, because I've not got enough traffic onto my website yet to determine what the problem is there. If I've got 500 clicks at about £3 per click, and I've also got no checkouts and everything throughout my funnel, typically at this point you would probably decide that the product's not going to work because your cost per click is too high, you've got far too few checkouts and purchases, and there's no way you're going to make this profitable. So what you can do as well, if we come into the edit column section, if we come on to here and we put in the complete purchase ROAS, this is probably going to look weird on here. We scroll all the way along, it's going to show us the amount of return on ad spend that we're making. So for me, on this campaign, for every £1 that I spent, I was getting £5.24 back. Okay, now you can work out your break-even CPA. You can also work out your break-even ROAS. Okay, and realistically, I wouldn't bother focusing on this just because the reporting on here is very, very poor. Really, every day, see what TikTok has told you you've made in terms of payments, go and see how much revenue it thinks you've made, and ROAS, and then go ahead and have a look at your store and then compare the two numbers, because if the numbers don't add up, then you're going to want to just look at exclusively what's happening on your store's analytics. One other little cool piece of advice, I don't know if I've done it on this ad, when you come onto the advert and you put in the link for your product, add in this UTM source equals TikTok ads, okay? At the end of it, so question mark, UTM source equals ads. If you do that, now, when you come into the analytics part of your website, in here, you can actually see orders, right? I don't know if it's going to show up because there's no data. Sessions by device type, sales attributed to marketing is going to help show up in here. Sessions by social source, sales by social source here, right? Top referrers by session. In these areas down here, sales by traffic source, you're going to be able to see the UTM parameters. So if somebody's come through and it says UTM source equals TikTok, you can then see 10 sales were made through TikTok. In here, track through UTMs. Here it says we made 29. So and actually on our store we made 15 sales. Okay, so then you can see, right, well, roughly we've made anywhere between 10 and 15 sales, and TikTok ads is just basically tracking things completely wrong. So it gets a bit complicated, but that kind of gives you a bit of an overview on what to do with your marketing. I hope this kind of lays out a little bit about how to do paid ads. I couldn't really, I don't know if Facebook ads is loaded yet. No, I don't know what's going on with Facebook ads, but Facebook ads is exactly the same principle. If anything, just use TikTok because it's going to be cheaper and better anyway. But basically, the content that we create in these timelines here, we will post hopefully 10 to 50 videos before we start running any ads. We then take our top 5 performing ads and then we run that in our campaign. So remember, if we draw this as a tree diagram, we've got our campaign, where there's one campaign, there's one of those. That then has one ad set, okay? That one ad set has 5 different ads on it, okay? These 5 different ads are the ads videos that we posted onto our TikTok organic accounts. These are the ones that got the most amount of views, the most amount of engagement, and the most amount of sales for our store. So now what we're doing is we're basically paying money towards these adverts to try and scale our revenue on our store. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transition these into a scaling campaign, which is going to be the same thing. We have one campaign, this is a new campaign, and we're going to have, in this case, usually I like to do 3 ad sets. And then each one of those ad sets has the same top performing ads. So let's say this ad, and this ad were all profitable. They were all making us money. They all had good clicks and everything. We then scale them. Never scale an ad that's not making you money in the creative testing. Okay, if none of these ads make you money, test more ads, test more ads. If you spend $100 and you're not making money, you're not making sales, quit, move on to a new product. If you're making $100, spent $100 and you've made $100 back and you're breaking even, keep on testing until you're profitable. Okay. Now we've got these 3 ad sets. So these look like this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Each one of these ad sets has got 3 ads. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And these 3 ads, I don't know why I did that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are exactly the same ads. So the ads on this ad set, the ads on this ad set, and the ads on this ad set are all the same ads. And these ads are these 3 here. So we take these 3 and we dump them into our scaling campaign. Now you can, if you want, create variations. So here we can do a broad campaign, sorry, broad ad set, which is no targeting. This one we can do an audience target, and this one we can do an audience target. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rinse and repeat. Out of this one, if it makes us money, great. We're then going to scale this system here. We're going to scale broad. If these 2 aren't making us money, we're not going to scale these 2 ad sets. We're then going to look at the ads within this campaign, and if this one's made us money and this one's made us money, great. We're going to turn off this one that's not making us money, and we're going to let the budget push all of the money from this campaign into this ad set and into these 2 ads. That's basically it. And then eventually you're going to increase the amount of money that you're spending. Now it can get more complicated than this. You can set up more campaigns, right? You can add in new ad sets. So once you delete these 2 ad sets, I then recommend you swap them out for 2 new ad sets. So if you've tested audience 1 and audience 2, put in an audience 3 and an audience 4. And when I say audiences, when you come into the ad group here and you edit this, you can see down here, these are audiences, right? So you could, these are custom audiences, I think. Here we can put skin, right? Skincare. It's got 12 million people, right? So that could be an audience that we test. So that would be one of these, okay? And then we'd have another one, and that other one could be, for example, beauty and personal care. 15 million views, okay? And that could be the second one. And then it might be that this ad set works eventually, right? So you can kind of get an idea of how the marketing system works. And it's exactly the same strategy to use on Facebook, just to start off with, right? This will get you some early sales. Now, that's it for lesson 6. In lesson 7, I want to go through more sort of like conversion rate optimization. I want to talk to you about how ChatIQ can increase conversion rates through AI product recommendations, and try and explain to you why most people fail. We're going to go through some other stuff in later videos as well in terms of conversion rate optimization. But that is basically all that you need to know to really get started. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to get set up with AI product recommendations and automated customer service using ChatIQ, click the link below this video, but I will see you in my next video.